Welcome to the best gaming laptops under $1,000 awards show where I will be rewarding each of these gaming laptops under $1,000 with exactly what they deserve. Links to all of these gaming laptops will be in the description below. Let's go. Best bang for your buck. MSI Katana 15. I've been testing the MSI Katana 15 for a couple of weeks now, and honestly it's the best value gaming laptop I've found under $1,000. The 13th Gen Intel Core i7 processor with 10 cores absolutely crushes it, hitting up to 4.9 GHz with turbo boost. I was blown away by how it handled everything I threw at it, from Need for Speed to Cyberpunk 2077 on high and even ultra settings with no stuttering. The cooling system is seriously impressive too. 6 copper heat pipes and 3 heat sinks keep everything cool even during my 6 hours gaming marathons. The 144Hz display makes everything buttery smooth, though the color accuracy isn't going to win any awards. For the price though, this thing is an absolute steal if you want serious gaming performance without breaking the bank. The GOAT. Acer Nitro 16. Guys, I found my new favorite gaming laptop. The Acer Nitro 16 is legitimately the GOAT of budget gaming machines. This thing absolutely crushed my gaming tests, hitting 130 FPS in shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is better than most other RTX 4060 laptops I've tested and almost matches some RTX 4070 machines. The 16-inch display with 165Hz refresh rate makes everything look silky smooth, especially when playing fast-paced shooters. I was particularly impressed with how it handled Apex Legends. I was hitting 143 FPS consistently, which felt incredible. The AMD Ryzen 7 processor paired with that RTX 4060 GPU is a killer combo for the price. Battery life could be better. You'll get absolutely 5 to 6 hours for regular use and only 2 hours of gaming. But that's the only real compromise I found. For a budget gaming laptop, this thing punches way above its weight class. Most overrated. Gigabyte G6X. Look, on paper the Gigabyte G6X seems amazing with its Intel Core Ultra i7 processor and RTX 4060 GPU. But after using it for a while, I'm honestly disappointed. Yes, it comes with 32GB of RAM and a 1TB SSD which looks great in the specs, but the actual experience is just meh. The design is super basic and utilitarian. Nothing about it feels premium or exciting. The battery life is mediocre at best, especially when gaming. The fans get ridiculously loud under load, which drove me crazy during testing sessions. And while the 165Hz display is decent, the speakers are just adequate, nothing special. Don't get me wrong, it performs well enough for gaming, but for the price I expected much more than just fine when it comes to build quality and overall experience. There are definitely better options out there for your money. You tried award. Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3. The Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3 really tried to be a contender in the budget gaming space, but honestly it fell short in several areas. I found the 256GB SSD painfully small. I could barely fit 2 modern games on it before running out of space. The single-channel 8GB RAM in the base model was a major bottleneck, causing it to pull up the rear in most gaming benchmarks I ran. While the keyboard felt decent for typing and gaming, the display was a real letdown with its dual colors and low brightness. I measured it as low as 210 nits in places. For around $700, it offers entry-level RTX 3050 graphics that can handle older or less demanding titles, but you'll need to drop settings to low for anything more intensive. One-trick pony. Gigabyte G5 MF. The Gigabyte G5 MF is definitely a one-trick pony, focusing almost entirely on gaming performance while sacrificing in other areas. When I tested it, the RTX 4050 with 6GB VRAM delivered solid 1080p gaming performance, handling titles like Cyberpunk 2077 and Call of Duty without major issues. The build quality impressed me. It's surprisingly sturdy and portable, so much that I sometimes forgot it was in my backpack. However, the speakers were a huge letdown, producing piercing, screechy audio with absolutely no bass. The display, while featuring a smooth 144Hz refresh rate, has limited color accuracy with only 45% NTSC coverage, making it purely functional rather than impressive. The laptop also runs relatively hot during extended gaming sessions, though the dual-fan cooling system manages to prevent thermal throttling. The overachiever. Lenovo LOQ15. The Lenovo LOQ15 genuinely surprised me as the overachiever in the budget gaming laptop space. Despite its affordable price point, I found its build quality noticeably superior to other laptops in this range. The cooling system is particularly impressive during my extended gaming sessions. It kept temperatures manageable without excessive fan noise. Gaming performance exceeded my expectations with the RTX 4050 GPU handling modern titles like Cyberpunk 2077 at 60 to 70 FPS and Fortnite at 120 plus FPS on high settings. The 144Hz G-Sync display made competitive games feel incredibly smooth and responsive, giving me that extra edge in fast-paced shooters. While battery life isn't amazing, at 4 to 6 hours for light use and only about 2 hours for gaming, the fast charging feature somewhat makes up for this limitation. Most underrated, MSI Thin A15. I've been testing the MSI Thin A15 for a couple of weeks now, and honestly I'm surprised more people aren't talking about this laptop. It packs an AMD Ryzen 5 7535HS processor paired with an RTX 4050 GPU that handles most games pretty well at 1080p. The 144Hz display makes gameplay feel smooth, and I really appreciate the variety of ports, including USB-C with DisplayPort and HDMI 2.1 for connecting to external monitors. Battery life isn't amazing at 52.4 watt, but the laptop is surprisingly light at just 1.86 kilograms, making it genuinely portable. The RAM is upgradable to a whopping 64 GB, so you can easily future-proof this machine if you want to keep it for years. While it does have some thermal issues during extended gaming sessions, with the keyboard getting noticeably warm, it's hard to beat what you're getting at this price point. Biggest letdown, Acer Nitro V15. I had high hopes for the Acer Nitro V15, especially with its RTX 4050 GPU and Core i7 processor, but after using it for a while, I've been pretty disappointed. The biggest issue I've encountered is the absolutely lifeless display. Colors look washed out, which really kills the gaming experience despite the 144Hz refresh rate. The fans are ridiculously loud, with a distinctive whine that's audible across the room, forcing me to use headphones even for basic tasks since they speed up aggressively just from opening a web page. While the gaming performance is decent for 1080p gaming, I was getting around 70 FPS in shadow at the top rate or at highest settings. The subpar webcam and weak speakers further add to the disappointment. The keyboard is comfortable enough with white backlighting rather than the cliché red, but that's not enough to make up for the other shortcomings. For $869, I expected better. Jack of all trades, Asus TUF Gaming A15. After spending time with the Asus TUF Gaming A15, I can confidently say it's the perfect middle ground option if you want a bit of everything. The military-grade durability really shows. I've accidentally bumped it a few times and it's held up great, making it perfect for taking to class or coffee shops. Gaming performance is solid with the RTX 3050 handling most modern titles at medium settings, though you'll need a dial back for newer AAA games. The 144Hz display makes games look smooth, and the cooling system with its 4 heat pipes and 3 heat sinks keeps things running without major throttling issues. Battery life is average at around 4 to 5 hours for light use, which is expected for a gaming laptop. I especially appreciate the upgradability. You can easily add more RAM or storage when needed, which makes this a laptop that can grow with you over time. It's not perfect at any one thing, but it does everything pretty well. Asus TUF Gaming A14. Shut up and take my money. The Asus TUF Gaming A14 absolutely blew me away with its incredible balance of performance and portability. At just 3.2 pounds, this thing is ridiculously light for a gaming laptop. Yet it packs serious power with its AMD Ryzen processor and RTX 4060 GPU that handled everything I threw at it. What really shocked me was the battery life. I could actually work all day without hunting for an outlet, something I've never experienced with a gaming laptop before. The 165Hz display is gorgeous with its 2560 to 1600 resolution. And the build quality feels surprisingly premium despite being in the TUF lineup. For a sub $1,000 gaming laptop that doesn't compromise on performance or portability, I immediately handed over my credit card. This is the one to beat. Dell G16 7630, guilty pleasure. The Dell G16 is that guilty pleasure purchase that makes you feel like you scored big without breaking the bank. I was genuinely surprised by the 16-inch 2560 to 1600 display with its buttery smooth 240Hz refresh rate. It's the kind of screen you'd expect on a much pricier laptop. The RTX 4060 GPU crushed my gaming sessions, hitting impressive frame rates in demanding titles like Red Dead Redemption 2, where it scored 64 FPS at 1080p. What really sold me though was the Cherry MX mechanical keyboard. The tactile feedback is so satisfying that I found myself looking for excuses to type more. Sure, it's not the lightest laptop and the fans get loud under pressure, but at $950 on sale, this thing delivers way more than it should for the price. If you can snag it during a discount, you're basically stealing it. Acer Nitro V16, most improved. The Acer Nitro V16 represents the biggest glow up I've seen in budget gaming laptops this year. Testing it with its AMD Ryzen processor and RTX 4060 GPU, I was impressed by how it handled modern titles at high frame rates without breaking a sweat. The 165Hz display is bright and responsive, hitting 371 nits in my testing, perfect for gaming in well-lit rooms. I particularly loved the NitroSense software, which made tweaking performance settings super intuitive, especially when switching between gaming and productivity modes. While the battery life could definitely be better and those fans get seriously loud in turbo mode, the overall value proposition is outstanding. Acer has clearly been listening to feedback. as this iteration fixes many of the pain points from previous Nitro models while keeping the price firmly under $1,000. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. For more videos like this in the future, remember to leave a like and subscribe. Alright, peace out.